In 2 Kings 20, King Hezekiah is under siege. He's under siege from sickness that is killing him. He's under siege from an enemy that is at the borders of his kingdom. The prophet comes in and says to him, listen, get your house in order because you're going to die. But he cries to God. God hears his prayer. And God not only prolongs his life by 15 years, and God not only deals with this enemy at the borders of his kingdom, but God confirms it and affirms this miracle for Hezekiah by doing something absolutely brilliant. The sun, instead of going forward 10 degrees, moves backward 10 degrees. And God does that so that when people ask and when people inquire, there would be no doubt in anybody's mind that it was God who came through. You know, seasons of difficulties come and seasons of difficulties pass. But it's how we respond in those seasons of difficulties that show who we are. In the case of Hezekiah, his private prayer had a public ripple effect because the answer to his prayer in terms of the miracle was felt 500 miles away. And when the king of Babylon came to him to inquire not only as to his health, but as to how this phenomenon of the sun moving back 10 degrees was possible, because they knew it occurred in Israel, it was Hezekiah's response that turned it from what should have been a story about gratefulness and thankfulness into a cautionary tale. Because when asked by the prophet after they had left, King, what did you show them? What did they see? The writer of 2 Kings says that there was only one word that dominated his answer. He showed them his house and his treasury and his armory and his house and his kingdom. His. It was Hezekiah's one opportunity to speak to a God, to speak to help, to speak to support that was bigger than him. The fact that he was backed up against a wall and he couldn't see his way out, but help and support came to him. King, when everything was summed up about where you find yourself, about the fact that you're healthy, about the fact that this insurmountable wall that was in front of you was somehow scaled, was somehow opened, was somehow broken down. When all of that was summed up, when these people asked, what was it that they saw? What did you show them? What did they see? What did they see? I think it's a question for all of us, especially during the season in which we find ourselves in, because we are surrounded by insurmountable walls. Insurmountable walls. But these are walls that we can only overcome together during this period. During this period. We can only overcome them together. But once this period is over and we go back to our lives, or during this period of your children and your communities and your friends seeing you move through this period, what is it that they're seeing? During this period now, when all of us have to pause and think about the journey we've taken to get to where we have got to now, what is it that people are seeing in us? What is it that they see? I'm hoping that during this period, we reflect on the fact that we didn't get to where we were by ourselves, that we remember that there are those who helped us. We remember that there are those who lifted us up. We remember that through life, there are three things we must always remember about the blessings we have. Number one, the blessings are never totally about you. The blessings are for you, but they're never totally about you. They're always given to tell a bigger picture of the favor of God, a bigger picture of the support of people around you, a bigger picture of the people who support you. Number two, we are not only supposed to be vessels of blessing, but we are also supposed to be conduits of blessing. And you know, the purpose of a conduit is to assist the flow of water. A conduit assists for the flow of water. A conduit doesn't assist for itself. It always it always exists, always exists in order to help and be and be a support for something greater than itself. That doesn't diminish the purpose of a conduit and the reason for a conduit, but it is part of a process. And thirdly, and I think most importantly, and God to be, whatever it is your response and your responsibility and your accountability for the blessings in your life reveals him to be. So during this period, when we are asking each other to be community, when we are asking each other to look out for each other, when we realize that COVID has separated us into all our individual spaces, but us being in our individual spaces is actually what is supporting each other in all the spaces we find ourselves. Being in our individual spaces is making us rethink the importance of what it means to be in each other's physical space. And as we're thinking about how it is that we've got to where we are, let's ask ourselves the question, when this is over, what did they see? When we sum up all the blessings that we presently have in our space, what is it that I see? I pray that our legacy during this period will be a legacy of telling stories of your blessings, and stories that are bigger than just you, but encompass all the people and encompasses the God who has got you to where you are.